Here we're going to look at 3 topics in one. They will involve some calculus, they will involve some principle you need to know. And the integration of this class is found in 3 disciplines. Microeconomics, which is a branch of managerial economics, and also mathematical analysis. By definition, managerial economics is a science that integrates decision sciences and economic theory. Under economic theory, we have what we call micro and macroeconomics. And under decision sciences, we have mathematical analysis and econometrics. So all these can be taken by whomsoever takes this. So I've integrated you guys. So I'll explain everything that I'll explain will be very valid to you. So to start with, I will start by explaining the law of demand. What is demand? What does the law of demand stipulate? Now, to many of you, demand is more than just a desire. Demand is more than just a want. It's a combination of 2 things. Number 1, demand is what? The ability. And number 2, demand is the willingness to pay for a product. So this is how demand becomes complete. Now, if you're willing to pay and you don't have the ability, then we don't consider it as demand. And this is subject to the different prices within a period of time. So demand has a number of factors that affect it. Key are, number 1, the price. Number 2, the period. Number 3, the purchasing power. Now, if we're dealing with demand, like we had our class today, we have what we call the dependent and independent variables. So the factors that affect demand, which we call the independent variables. We have about 15 factors that affect demand. So I need you to enlist the factors that affect demand, and we'll digest it quickly. So what are the factors that affect demand? Anyone? Number 1. What are some of the factors that affect demand?
Price of a product.
Price of a product.
Number 2.
Supply.
Oh, supply doesn't affect demand. What are the factors? Price of related commodities.
Income.
Number 3, we have the income, exactly. Number 4, we have the taste and preferences. Number 5, we have the size of population. Number 6, we have distribution of income. Number 7, we have sociological factors. We also have weather, we have advertisement, government policy, expectations, trade conditions, and consumer facilities. So these are some of the factors that affect demand. Now to digest them quickly, how does price affect demand? Now to start with, we need to understand that demand has the inverse relationship between the price of a commodity and the demand for it. So this is extracted from the law of demand. So demand, whenever a curve is like this, it is an inverse relationship. Whenever a demand is like that, it is a direct relationship. So this is inverse and this is direct. So demand is given by the formula PD is equal to A minus BQ. The slope is down sloping. So this is what we call our inverse demand. So inverse demand is made out of what? The price function. Demand can also be using the direct demand function, which is A minus BP. So this is also a demand function. Key thing is our gradient is negative. So the law of demand stipulates that for any normal good, if the price goes up, you demand less of it. That is why humans are known to be of irrational behavior, because they are always demanding more for less. The price goes up, they'll go what? Down. So this is holding all other things constant. So the price of a particular good will always cause movements along the demand curve. So whenever the demand curve has the price of a particular good, for instance, we have something at 8 kwacha. If it goes to 10 kwacha, at 8 kwacha, we're consuming maybe 15 units. 10 units.
This side says this side. This side. So this side.
Our price affects our demand. Now, just on the issue of price, I will dominate briefly in 5 minutes. This price function that you're seeing here has a gradient and also has a coefficient. So if the price is equal to 10 minus 2q, you need to learn how to sketch this equation by putting the letters on one side. So we're going to have p plus 2q is equal to 10. Then you identify the coefficients that are there. Here there's a 1, which is invisible, and here there's a 2. So to know how to sketch this, you divide 1 into 10, we get a 10. To get the coefficient on the q, we divide 2 into 10, it is 5. And when you're drawing the x or y plane, we know that our p is here and our q is there. It will cut our p at 10 and it will cut our q at 5. So this is how we draw the demand function. Even if the demand function was in terms of q, we're given that q is equal to 120 minus 40p. The idea is to put the letters on one side. We're going to have what? Q plus 40p. Then on the other side, we're going to have a 120. So identify the intercepts that we have. On the Q, there's an invisible 1. So 1 into 120, we get a 120. 40 into 120, we get a 3. So we can draw our x or y plane. Our p is here and our q is there. So the p will be at what? 3. And the q will be at what? 120. This is how we draw the functions. I'm trying to be as basic as I can to every layman who's never sketched. Any questions at this point before I proceed on the price that affects the demand? Any questions? Are we together?
So in coming up with the graph there, when we are arranging the formula, you always put the letters on the other side, on one side.
Exactly. That is the easiest way I would give you to sketch any linear equation. Let's put the letters on one side.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? So what other factor did we say affects demand? We say the other factor that affects demand are related goods. Now we have a number of related goods. We have what we call substitute goods. These are goods which can be used with equal ease in place of another one. For instance, Coke and Pepsi, a ball pen and an ink pen, tea and coffee. These ones are substitute goods. And for substitute goods, whenever one good goes up and the other one is demanded more, we call that the substitution effect. The substitution effect. So the substitution effect brings about a positive relationship between two goods. And so it means you have a positive elasticity of demand. We also have what are called complementary goods, which depend on each other. One's availability will also comprehend or complement the other good. So they are interdependent. For instance, a ball pen and refill. Without each, this one becomes useless. A car and petrol, these complement each other. So they have an inverse relationship in that if the price of a car goes up, so the demand for the petrol will go down because you stop buying both. That's why it has what? An inverse relationship. Inverse relationship is where one variable is going up, the other one goes down. And so elasticity of demand for a complementary good is always negative because of the inverse relationship. So we have a number of goods that you need to know. So the goods that we need to know, we have a substitute good. These are goods that have equal ease in use. We have a complementary good. These are goods that complement each other. We have what other goods are there? That you know, we have an inferior good, simply good which you demand less of if your income goes up. Example, Raula or a black and white TV. When your income goes up, you demand less of it. What other goods do we know? We have a necessity or a luxurious good. A luxurious good is a good that.
Mr. Collins,
Yes, please.
I can't see your screen. I don't know if I'm the only one or it's other people as well.
Are you able to see my screen? The rest of you?
Yes.
Yes, it's very clear actually.
Okay, let me try logging in, then log out, then log in.
All right, okay. But are we following the rest of us together?
Yes.
Great. So we also have what we call normal goods. These are goods which we demand more of as our income goes up. We also have what we call public goods. These are goods which are supplied by the federal government, street lighting, roads, government school, government hospitals. We also have period goods. These are goods which are supplied by the private sector, like private hospitals, private schools. All right. We also have precious goods. These are goods which we also call ostentatious goods. These are goods which we demand more of when the price goes up. We also call given goods, etc., etc. Now, regarding what we're just from explaining, the price of related goods or price of other. In this particular case, we are making particular emphasis the other goods that are substitutes and that are complementary. So we mentioned to say that for substitute goods, they have a positive relationship. Complementary goods, they have a negative relationship. Now, these goods will bring us to a concept that is called elasticity. Elasticity is simply our responsiveness to demand due to changes in price. The people that should understand this concept mainly are the ladies because they're very elastic. They know where the cheapest glossary is found because they're very elastic. For guys, we need to understand that the quick shops were meant for us because we're so indifferent to the pricing. Of course, that's a debate for another day, that women think we are wasteful. And so elasticity brings in a very important concept, especially with these two factors, the price of a good and the price of other goods. Like we said, the price is given by BQ. So this is the inverse demand function. So if you're calculating elasticity of demand, we are simply going to find inverse means 1 over. So 1 over B times price over quantity. All right. So for instance, if our demand is given by 10 minus 2Q, then you're asked to find the elasticity or the point elasticity of demand when your Q is 3. So in here, when you put a 3, what are you going to have for the P? The P is going to be 10 minus 6. So meaning our P will be 4. So if we're going to substitute this in this formula, we need to understand that our B here is a gradient. So our B here is what? A 2, which is negative. So when you substitute this in here, we're going to have 1 over negative 2. Where there is price, we're going to put a 4. Where there is quantity, we're going to put a 3. Where is the 4 coming from? We just calculated it. All right. And where is the 3? We're given here. So this is going to give us 4 over negative what? 6. So elasticity of demand in this case is always negative. We need to know that. So we're going to have 0.67. That is going to be our point elasticity of demand. Let me go through this calculation again. This is an inverse demand whenever P is subject. The formula for elasticity we use is this. So it's an inverse because we're going to have 1 over B, then price over quantity. Okay. So in this equation here, we identify our B. So what is a B? The B is what? 2. And what is our P? Since we're given the Q as 3, so we substitute the 3 in there to get 6. 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. So when we substitute in this formula here, we're going to have our elasticity of demand as negative 0.67. So I want you to find the elasticity of demand for this function. P is equal to 100 minus 4Q. So calculate the elasticity of demand when your Q is given by 10. Please calculate the elasticity of demand when your Q is given by 10. I'll give you only 2 minutes. So once you lead us through how to calculate the elasticity. How do we calculate the elasticity to start with? Let's identify what is our B from that function. What is our B?
Negative 4.
Our B is negative 4. Is you right? And what is our P? 100 minus
6.
40, which is what? 60.
60.
So what formula do we use? This formula here. So elasticity will be 1 over what? Negative 4. And what is our price? 6. 10. So here you're going to have 60 over 40. It will give us 1.5 negative. So you need to also understand that elasticity of demand is always negative. It ranges from the following ranges. If it's between 0 and -1, we call that inelastic. So inelastic. Inelastic is anything starting with a 0 point something. If it's exactly at 1 negative, we call that unit elastic. right? If it's greater than 1, of course, negatives are smaller side, it is elastic. So I need you to tell me on the comment here, is it elastic or inelastic?
Why the word inside or right?
It's inelastic.
Says it's inelastic. Is it right?
No, it's elastic.
It's in
It's elastic.
Okay, so there's a problem somewhere. Let's name them A, B, C, D, E. Negative 0.4, negative 1.4, negative 1.0, negative 14.4, and positive 3.4. Tell me which one is elastic, inelastic, unit elastic. Let's start with A. What is A?
Inelastic.
Inelastic.
Okay,
Inelastic.
inelastic, do we agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And B?
Elastic.
Elastic.
Then C?
Unit elastic.
Units.
Unit elastic. Okay. Then E?
Elastic.
Perfect elastic.
Elastic? We agree?
Yes.
Yes, it is elastic.
How is it elastic? Is it positive or is negative?
It's a positive.
Is demand elasticity of demand negative or positive?
It's negative.
Negative.
Does that qualify to be under elasticity of demand?
Because isn't it going beyond the range?
It's elasticity of supply.
So nothing beyond the range.
All right, so it's not even an elasticity of demand. All right. Are we moving together?
Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
But on the previous example, I just wanted to find out something on the previous computations. Yes. How are you identifying, like there B is got -4? How did you come up with that?
okay, there's a question there. B is -4. How did we know?
We checked from the formula that we were given.
from the formula.
So we are using this as a template. So our A is 100, meaning our B is 4. So this is our blueprint. Is that clear?
Okay.
So if you're going
Okay. All right.
down there, just copying and pasting what is there. All right. Can I proceed now? Conversely,
Yes, sir.
we had 100.
No, there was some. You're about to tell us about those ones you wrote, the elastics. You're about to say something before you're taken back.
Oh, here.
Yes.
So this is inelastic. So
Yes.
every time we use negative, it starts with a 0, it's inelastic. If there's a number here, it is elastic. If it's a 1 exactly, it is unit elastic. This one is very elastic, so it's still negative, it's elastic. But E is what? It's not a demand, it's elasticity of supply or maybe income. So this one doesn't qualify to be elasticity of demand, meaning you should always know that every time you have elasticity of demand, it should always be negative. All right. So we have a direct demand. You need to know that elasticity of demand here is given by B times P over Q. So in this case, our B here, suppose we're given the P to be 40.
Sorry, Collins.
Yes, sir.
This is the elasticity of demand.
Yes, but this is the direct demand function. Remember, we're using the inverse demand function. Now, if we're given in terms of P of Q now, it changes. So
Oh, okay.
you know, it's not inverse,
Okay.
it's direct here. We're not doing 1 over. So
Okay.
our P is 40, we're given. Then the B there is what? 2. The Q we can calculate. The Q could be 100 minus what? 80 to get a 20. All right. So when you substitute in there, elasticity of demand here we got B is -2, not 2. So that should dawn into your mind that my answer would be negative. The P is 40 and our Q is 20. You know where the 20 is coming from, right? When you put the 40 there, it will be 80. 80 from 100, it will be 20. So to calculate this, it will give us what? 80 over 20, negative. The answer will be -4. What is the comment here?
Very elastic.
Yes, it is elastic, correct. Are we together? Comment is, it is elastic. Now, sometimes you can use what? Figures. We know that whenever you have price and quantity, here maybe we have the price was at 2 and 20 to 4. And the units you're consuming, maybe there were 8 units, but after the price went up, you went to consume 5 units. Calculate the elasticity of demand. The elasticity of demand is a change in Q over change in P. If you're using the formula, which is long, it is Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1. Everything P2 minus P1 divided by P1. So you can call these the ones and the twos. All right. So meaning this will be what? 5 minus what? 8 divided by 8 over 4 minus what? 2 divided by 2. Is that okay? So here on top, what are we going to have? 5 minus what? 3 minus 8 is -3. -3 over 8. And here it is what? 2 over 2, which is 1. So we divide -3 over 8. What are you getting? -0 point what?
375.
375. Then here 2 over 2 is 1. So when you divide this, we get -0.375. What is your comment here?
Elastic.
Inelastic.
Inelastic.
Elastic. Okay.
It's elastic.
It's elastic. Okay. So which one are we going for?
The one with inelastic.
The one with inelastic. Starting with a 0 is elastic. Correct. So let's go to your test, the way it came. I now need you to calculate
At what's the answer, Mr. Collins?
inelastic.
Inelastic.
Yes.
So which one should be elastic? The one that has got a 1.
And
When
then,
it has a 1, then it's elastic.
yes, whether 1 or 2.
Sorry?
Yes. If it's 1.4 negative, 10.4, 100.4 negative, that is all elastic. But if it's starting with 0, 0 point anything, it is inelastic. So let's go to your test here. I want you to calculate question number 8. I'll give you 2 minutes, please. Question number 8. I'll give you 2 minutes. You can try that. So when price increases from 4,000 to 6,000. So our initial price was 4,000. Then the next price was what? 6,000. What happened? The quantity had decreased from 100 to 70 units. So here you need to know whether demand is elastic or inelastic. But more than that, you need first to account for the value. Who wants to lead us through the formula? Elasticity of demand is good what? Change in Q over change in P. What is the change in Q?
30.
20
So if you're speaking
minus
of the
100
financial intelligence, you are hoping that
That's
you will get
30.
some sufficient
over 100, right? Divided by down what we put?
6,000 minus 4,000.
6,000 minus what? 4,000.
4,000 over 4,000.
4,000, correct. What did you get as a final answer?
Minus 0.6.
0.6. Do you agree with her?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So is it inelastic or it is elastic?
It's inelastic.
It's inelastic.
Inelastic.
It's inelastic, so it is true, right? So it's true. Okay. I think this is the answer that because this was one was wrong. So this is the answer that was marked wrong. So it is inelastic. It's true. Okay. So what other question regarding elasticity of demand before we go to the other elasticities? Okay. What type of elasticity of demand? What is the type of elasticity of demand when the size of the price elasticity is what? 1.05. What type of elasticity? It is elastic. Okay. Elasticity of demand is 1.05. It is elastic. If it was 0.05, it would be inelastic. What type of elasticity?
Elastic.
When the price of elasticity is 0.001, this is inelastic.
Inelastic. Inelastic.
What type of elasticity if the price is 1.00? So this is what? Unit elastic.
Elastic.
Okay.
Unit.
When it's exactly 1, this unit elastic. I mentioned that. All right. So what type of elasticity is it when it is 0? It is perfectly inelastic. If inelastic, the graph is like this. So this one elasticity of demand is what? 0. When it's like this, it is perfectly elastic. This is when elasticity of demand is too big, it's infinite. What is the type of elasticity when the size of elasticity of demand is infinite? It is perfectly elastic. So in this course, you cannot guess. If you don't know, you don't know. Now I want us to go through this one, which had a number of questions. So we're told that suppose a low income family earns $750 per month and consumes 8 kgs of hamburgers and 2 kgs of beef in a month. However, in month 2, the income increases to 950 and they consume 5 kgs and 4 kgs of beef. So I want to look at the income elasticity of a burger. Okay, anyway, we're dealing with income elasticity. I just want us to deal with price elasticity first of all. Yeah. But so far, are we understanding? I'm doing a step-by-step methodology so that we understand the factors that affect demand, then we go in the computation of each of these ones. Are we there yet? Are we getting better?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Anyone lost or anyone left behind before we proceed to another factor that affects demand? So just on the factors that affect demand, you're able to almost finish the whole syllabus because everything is centering on that. It's a topic on its own. There are topics on their own. Okay. So we're just on the price. We went on the price of other goods. We talked about substitute goods and complementary goods. Now, it is very imperative that you understand how these relate. If you're going to have a demand function like 10 minus 4px plus 5py plus 10m. So price of x and price of y. These are opposite signs. So this means that these are what? Substitute goods because the signs are different. If there was negative, a negative here, it will mean they are complementing each other, they are complements. Now, when you're dealing with cross price elasticity, it is simply elasticity that has to do with what? The activities of one good in relation to the other. How does it concern you when the price of milk goes up? It means those who are baking, they also be affected because the ingredients are a complement. Similarly, we are having a challenge of fuel affecting what? Of business for many things because this elasticity will affect the commodities that are involved. So cross price elasticity measures the responsiveness of demand due to changes in other goods. So we're going to dominate on just 2 goods, the substitute and our complements. Suppose we are told that the price of the good X is 2 kwacha, the price of good Y is 4 kwacha, and the price of the income that he's earning is 50 kwacha. So we are being asked to calculate all the elasticities. So before we go to calculating all the elasticities, it's important to know that for cross price elasticity, we have a number line to guide us. So if you are going to get anything negative, it is called a complementary good because there's an inverse relationship. If we are going to get a positive, it is called a substitute good. That is the key for you to know. This is to do with what? Related goods. To do with income, the key is this for you, that anything that is on the negative side is an inferior good because there's an inverse relationship. How is that when your income goes up, you stop buying that good because you can afford better. But when you are here on the right side, these are called normal goods. A normal good is a good whose elasticity is a positive. When you increase your income, the consumption will increase. All right. So except that between 0 and 1, it is a necessity. Between 1 and 2 or above, it is what? A luxury. But all these are normal goods. That's the way the norms must be. So in this case here, we are being asked to calculate the cross price, the price elasticity of demand, as well as the income elasticity. So when you put these figures here, the price of a good X is 2 kwacha, so you put a 2 kwacha there. When you apply this, you get 8. The price of good Y, you put what? A 4 kwacha. When you apply these two, you get a 20. And the price of your income is 50 kwacha. When you apply these two, you get a 500. So we're going to add 10 minus 8 is negative, is 2. So 2, this is 520, total is 522. So the quantity or the sales that you have, you're going to have 522. So at A, you calculate the price elasticity of demand. Since Q is subject, we're using the direct demand function. P times Bx over Qx. So we call this own price elasticity of demand also because they're dealing with the same good, X against X. So what is our B? Our B is -4 here. What is the price of good X? It was a 2 kwacha times 2. And what was the total number of sales? 522. So 522, when you multiply that, so it is 4 times 2 is -8. 522 times 1 is 522. I don't have a calculator, but you assist me to quickly give me the answers. What do we get? 0. What? What do we get?
-0.01.
-0.015. So what is our comment here? Elastic or inelastic? Inelastic.
Inelastic.
Then part number 2, ask you to calculate the cross price elasticity of demand. The gradient.
Sorry, Mr. Collins, I just wanted to find out why you got those numbers on top there in red, 2, 4, and 50.
Here you are given the price of good X is 2 kwacha, the price of good Y is 4 kwacha, and the income.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
All right, any other question? Helen, are you with us?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
I'm
Except I joined a bit late.
Okay.
here.
Karen, are you with us? Karen?
Yes, I am. Though I have left. This is bring me out.
All right. So here, the cross price elasticity, the gradient for this one is what? 5 positive. The price of Y is 4. The annual demand of the sales is 522. So when you compute this, what are we getting? 5 times 4 is 20. And 522 times 1, 522. What do we get when you apply?
-0.038.
0. What?
0.038.
What is our comment?
It's a normal good.
Inelastic.
Normal good. Okay, why? Positive, yes. All right. So it is a normal good. It's a positive. No, we don't say it's normal good for cross price elasticity.
I also said there's it's a substitute,
Yes,
I
it's
think.
correct. For cross price elasticity, you said a substitute or a complementary. It's substitute because it's a positive. If it was a negative, we say it's a complementary good. So it's a substitute good. And finally, we do the income elasticity of demand. So we get our gradient times the income over the total sales. Our B is 10. Income is what? 50. And our QX is 522. So when you apply this to 500 over 522. So when you divide 500 divided by 522, what we get? 0. What?
0.96.
0.96. So what is our comment there? 0.96.
From say.
It's a necessity.
It's what? Normal good, correct.
A normal good.
Normal good. Specifically can be anything. All right, let's go to your test now. Unless you're tired, if you want to try this. Asked to. Before you even got the question, just calculate the 3 elasticities here. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes on this one. I really need you to participate. So try this. Okay, so we are told that a consultant was provided with the following demand function. This demand function of X at the price of X, the price of Y, income and advertising. The price of X here was 200. The price of Y was 15 kwacha. Advertising was 10 2,000 units, and also the income was 10,000. What was the total you got? What is the QX? Pardon?
I got a quantity to 5460.
Who is agreeing? 5460.
Me too. 5460.
Okay, great. Then what was the price of demand? Easy.
$0.1099.
Negative 0.1099. Do we agree?
Yes.
You agree? Do you agree with that? Or you don't know? You've got something else.
I think you might have made some mistakes in computations.
Someone is the got. You're not giving us what you got. Then the cross price elasticity of demand.
Me, I got 0.010.
0.01.
0.
Then the income elasticity of demand.
minus 1.8.
1.8 what?
3.5.
What's the comment here? Elasticity of demand. Inelastic. How about cross price elasticity? Substitute.
It's a substitute.
How about income elasticity of demand?
It's an inferior good.
Very good. Okay, let's look at the how much of good X do consumers produce? So 5 for 60. Is that what you found? Oh, correct. Then goods X and Y substitute goods or complement. It substitutes. All right, you got it correct. Is good X a normal good or inferior good? You found inferior good. Correct. So see how interesting it is. This is what you wrote in your test. And people perished because of what?
Like
Mr. Collins, could you be kind enough to just go through this equation with us?
The whole lot of it?
Yes.
Okay, so we're given this equation. And in this equation, we've been given the price of good X, which is 200 kwacha. So where there's X, we'll put 200. And the price of good Y, which is 15 kwacha. So where there's Y, we'll put 15. And we also told that 200 units for advertising. So where there's A, we'll put 2,000 units. And we also told that the income, which is M, 10,000. So where there's M, we'll put 10,000. So substituting in this equation, the total value we're getting is that. Are we together on this one?
Okay.
Then to find the price elasticity of demand, we get the gradient for demand, which is what? -3. So -3 times the price of X, which is 200, or 200 divided by the total quantity of sales, 54 what? 60. When you apply this, you're going to get -0.1099. This means demand is inelastic. Then the signs already here for good X and Y are different. So it shows you that these are what? Substitute goods. But we can still calculate it from the cross price elasticity of demand from X to Y. So cross price elasticity of demand is given by the gradient times the price of Y over QX. So our B for this time, the gradient is 4 times the price of Y is 15 over the total sales there, which is 50 what? 460. When you compute that, you get a positive number plus 0.010. So this means because positive is a substitute good, that's why here we put substitutes, because we get a positive answer. If the answer is negative, we'd say they are complementary goods. At this point, are we together?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Then lastly, to calculate the income elasticity of demand, it is simply the income itself, -1, times the price of the income, which is 10,000, divided by our 5460. So when you compute that, 5460, you get negative what? -1.835. Here we're just interested in the sign. If it's negative, it's an inferior good. So the reason why, if you're asked how x is, if it's a normal or inferior good, because we've got a negative something, you can say it's an inferior good. All right, so we'll end here for now, and I'll share the recording in the feed up group so you can go through at your own time. Unless any burning questions, you can ask.